Hi, everybody. This is Sophia Mona Lisa from the Roseville Mystery School and the Golden Ray Center. So I've got a really thrilling video for you today regarding Jupiter's move from the 29-degree spot of Aries, and it's been Aries for about the past year, crossing that threshold from 29 degrees of Aries into Taurus at 0 degrees. So that's happening today, May 16th, 2023. And this is all about that greater theme for the 2023 year that I spoke to in my New Year's Eve video about the path of love. And if you haven't seen it yet, I encourage you to go back and watch it. And I'll put a little link below so you can find it very quickly and easily. So this is great news, Jupiter moving into Taurus today. So let's see what's going on with it. So here's the chart, and we can see there's Jupiter at 0 degrees Taurus, 0, 0. And what happens is it's going to be hanging out at that 29-degree mark of Aries for, part of the day before it shifts over that threshold and gets to that 0 degrees part. And the reason I keep emphasizing that 29 degrees of Aries position is because 29 degrees of any astrological sign is a mastery point. And Jupiter has been moving through this realm of Aries for the past year. And the medicine, the shamanic medicine of Aries is all about self-love. And as I've mentioned in other videos, anytime Jupiter engages frequencies, what he does is he amplifies those frequencies. He expands them on an exponential basis. So over the past year, humanity as a whole and us as individuals have been really receiving this huge download from Jupiter's journey through Aries, so that we can open ourselves up to really loving ourselves, because this is where it all begins, within us. If we do not love ourselves, we're not able to love others. We're not able to have experiences show up in our external reality that are based in that love frequency. So this is a huge push forward that humanity has experienced over the past year. And the beautiful thing about Jupiter is whenever he leaves that engagement, and if you have really stepped up to the plate in terms of meeting that offering, then he leaves us a boon. He leaves us a sacred gift. So you can look in your own life to see how that gift around your own self-love may show up for you. Now, when Taurus moves over that threshold to that 0 degrees of, when Jupiter moves over that threshold from Aries into Taurus at that 0 degrees, you'll see here that he's closely aspecting two other luminary bodies. The first one is the North Node. This is significant because the North Node is all about our evolutionary path, getting us aligned back to where it is that we as humanity, we as individuals of humanity, are being evolved towards. And so what's fascinating is the North Node is going to be completing its journey through Taurus. And actually the node comes in a pair. The North Node is up here in Taurus, but the South Node, which is its pair, is down here in Scorpio. So they move together in pairs around what you might call the face of the clock here, this of the astrological chart. Well, it's getting ready to complete. They are getting ready to complete their move through this Taurus Scorpio axis, and will be shifting over into Aries. And across the sky from Aries into Libra. This is where we just had that first eclipse on this axis at the 29-degree mark in April. And so I think it's July 18th. Don't hold me to the date, but I think it's July 18th. It's definitely in July, when the North Node will cross over from 0 degrees of Taurus to that 29 degrees of Aries that I just mentioned, where Jupiter has been standing. And so this is highly significant for a few reasons. One, because now the North Node and the South Node will be moving along this Aries Libra axis, bringing humanity into alignment with the energetic theme of that axis, which I mentioned in April with that first eclipse at 29 degrees of Aries. It's the path of conscious equal partnership. So when the North Node moves back to that 29 degrees, it's actually kind of re-engaging those frequencies of that eclipse that happened there at that point in the sky back in April. So you may feel like a whole nother wave of that evolutionary flux kind of move you. I'm seeing like if you're playing in the ocean, and when the waves come, and what do? They lift you up, and then you come down, and then the next wave comes and it lifts you up and it lets you down. So this is what's going to happen. The other thing is that, of course, that remember that's going to happen in July, but right now with Jupiter at that 29 degrees of Aries before it crosses over into Taurus, those frequencies will also be reactivated. And so be aware that you may actually feel this huge surge coming up within you, especially through your heart center, where you kind of fall in love with yourself. So be aware of that as that comes up over the next about two months. Now, the other luminary body that they're engaging here, they being Jupiter in the North Node, is Mercury. And you'll see here that Mercury is in its direct motion now. So Mercury has come out of that underworld journey and is moving forward above the horizon. And so we know Mercury as the cosmic messenger. So that tells us that there is a significant message around this shift of Jupiter moving from Aries into Taurus that the cosmos is desiring for us to hear. And so Mercury's broadcasting that message to us. So let's talk about, what does the cosmic messenger want humanity to know about our evolution, right? Evolution being the key word for that North Node. What do we need to know about this? And this is where Jupiter comes in. It's time for humanity to know the truth about who we are. Truth is a key word for Jupiter because Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, which is all about the highest spiritual truth that you can, let that arrow go to reach. So it's time for humanity to know the truth about who we are. And so who are we? In fact, the secret that has been kept from us by the dark forces through all of the mind control programming and through all of the various institutions that they use to keep us in the dark about who we are, including organized religion, the church. Well, we are embodiments of love. And so this lends again to the significance of Jupiter standing at that 29 degrees of Aries, self-love, before it moves into that 0 degrees of Taurus, all about embodiment. We are embodiments of love. And so I've said in other videos, particularly around videos related to my work with the Galactic New Earth Project, that the Cosmic Sophia asked me to facilitate for her last January 2022. And so what I've been sharing for quite a while now is that frequency of divine love is a manifestation. And so it's important to understand, what is it a manifestation of? It's a manifestation of the sacred union between Christ and his beloved, Sophia, divine will and divine wisdom. Their union is manifested as that frequency of divine love, of which we as humanity are embodiments of. That is huge, because source, God, goddess, whatever you call that infinite, eternal, omnipresent, omnipotent field of consciousness, is the Sophia Christ consciousness. And we are extensions of that field, that source field, that unified source field. Each one of our souls is an extension of source, and our soul, as a fractal of the whole, is the Sophia Christ consciousness that's within us. And so because the Sophia Christ consciousness is within us, that sacred union between the two of them, manifesting that divine love frequency that broadcasts through our heart space, means that we are embodiments of love. We are children of the divine. We have it encoded in our own DNA and within our own genetics that we are Christed beings. And that's the truth of who we as humanity are. That's why there's so much galactic interest in what's happening with humanity on this planet. And so, you have to embody, you have to incarnate on this planet, and you have to embody those frequencies. And that's what's happening now as Jupiter moves over to that 0-degree mark of Taurus. And you're going to be given another opportunity to embody that divine love frequency when the North Node moves to that 29-degree of Aries mark in July and reactivates the frequencies of the first eclipse at that point, and also Taurus's position at that point. So that's happening in 2 months. Be very aware of when that happens so that you can tune into yourself, tune into your body, and feel what's coming online within you and how the external reality shifts to mirror what's happening within you in that expansion. Okay, now this placement of Jupiter being conjunct the North Node and the cosmic messenger has got a couple of aspects involved. And so the first aspect that we see here is that there is an aspect to Sophia. Isis, for me, represents the cosmic Sophia, divine wisdom. She's standing here at almost 2 degrees of Virgo. From Taurus to Virgo, earth to earth, this is known as a trine, the path of most allowance for us to be able to embody this self-love as that divine love frequency. And so Yeshua told me middle of last year that the second coming of Christ is the emergence of Sophia through each and every one of us. She is the path of most allowance for humanity to wake up to the truth of who we are, that we are not only divine beings, divine and human, that we are Christed beings, that we are embodiments of love. And so sometimes I get ahead of myself. There you go. It bears saying again, the second coming of Christ is not Jesus as a man showing up on the planet again. It's not. It is the bride of Christ, Sophia, his beloved, who is emerging through each and every one of us. So this is the second aspect that this Jupiter North Node and Mercury as the cosmic messenger is making. And so Jupiter here at 0 degrees is making what's known as a square 90-degree angle to Pluto here at 0 degrees of Aquarius. Remember what I've said about squares. They are opportunities for breakthroughs in consciousness. And so when you have this embodiment of the divine love frequency and know the truth of who you are and recognize that Sophia is emerging through you, that you have that sacred union of Christ and Sophia within you, this is a huge breakthrough in consciousness that humanity has had kept from them by the dark forces for tens of thousands of years. And Pluto is all about empowerment. And notice that Pluto is retrograde. I've always said retrograde energies are pulling your awareness, your attention away from the external reality and into your inner reality. When you come to know the truth of who you are as an embodiment of divine love, that is a huge inner empowerment that happens. That is a huge breakthrough in love that happens within you. And what's really special about Aquarius, because Pluto is getting ready to complete this 250, I think it was 55-year journey through Capricorn. It's started now this, pardon me, I said that wrong. It's getting ready to complete a 20-year journey through Capricorn that hasn't happened in almost 255 years. I think that's 255, 257, somewhere around there. I've mentioned it in other videos. So this is a big deal because this is a huge paradigm shift. And so, you know, Pluto is just beginning this next 21-year journey that will take it through Aquarius. And as it does, remember, Pluto's all about empowerment. Aquarius is about global consciousness, the quantum field, our multidimensional selves. And so we're going to see a rise of global consciousness on this planet to help humanity come into a global community where they can be equal partners with each other. No more hierarchy where one is dominant over another, the other is subservient to the one. No more. And we've got to be able to stand together as equals in this space of love as a global community so that we can step into the next stage of our evolution, which is being welcomed back into the galactic community. And so, you know, Pluto has just begun this journey into those Aquarian energies. He went into Aquarius in March on the 23rd. He's going to be leaving Aquarius on June 11th. And he won't be going back into Aquarius again until next January. So the rest of this year, from June 11th until January 19th of next year, Pluto will be at those last degrees of Capricorn, the last big hurrah of being able to take back your sovereignty, especially your sovereignty over your physical body, right? So that you're not being told that you have to wear a mask. You're not being told that vaxes are mandated. You're not being told you have to stay in your house or you're going to be taken away. Sovereignty over your body is serious stuff that humanity is being able to master and stand both feet in. Capricorn, another earth sign, just like Taurus and just like Virgo. So this is the bigger picture that is important to be aware of when Jupiter makes this move over into Taurus. And so these are some things that are happening, again, related to these Taurian energies, and Jupiter is just going to help to exponentially raise the frequencies around this process. Our carbon-based DNA is being transformed into a crystalline structure. And that crystalline structure of our DNA is aligned with the frequency of divine love. If you take a cross section of a DNA strand, you're going to see the flower of life structure. That's the same structure that the crystals have within them. They have that flower of life structure. That's the same structure of the quantum field. And so everything that's happening to humanity is all about us becoming aligned with and knowing the truth of who we are as embodiments of this divine love. The 12 strands of DNA that were taken offline, 10 of the strands within the physical body, the sacred vessel, taken offline by the dark forces. That's when the veil came over us, right? That's when the lights went out. 10 strands of DNA taken offline. But they cannot mess with the divine template. Those 12 strands of DNA have been online in our divine template for all this time. And now what's happening by the Christos Sophia, the Sophia Christ consciousness, those strands of DNA from the divine template are being repaired, reconnected with the strands of DNA in our sacred vessel. And when that happens, then the strand of DNA that's in our sacred vessel that's been reconnected to the strand in the divine template, it's getting regenerated. And that's only possible because of that connection with the strand in the divine template. It's like if you get a dead battery in your car and AAA comes out and they put the jumpers on the battery of their truck, and they put the jumpers on the battery in your car, and they push the gas a little bit, vroom, vroom, and boom, your battery gets that jump, and now it's got full power again. This is the same kind of process, this being jumped. This is the process of this regeneration that's happening once the strand of DNA in the divine template gets repaired, reconnected with the strand in our sacred vessel. Boom, it gives it a jump. Boom, the DNA strand within your body is now back online, regenerated. And when that happens, all kinds of spiritual gifts that are uniquely coded to you, that are in that strand of DNA that have been lying dormant because it's been offline, are now all of a sudden available for you to start engaging with, to start using. This is a really big deal. And as each successive strand of DNA is brought back online, those strands of DNA are at higher and higher frequencies. We just had a ceremony for the Venus gate activation last month that brought the 8th strand of DNA back online. We're going to have one this month that brings the 9th strand of DNA online. The 8th strand of DNA is at a much higher frequency than the 3rd strand of DNA. And in my mind, from what's been shared with me, these strands of DNA relate to the frequencies of the higher densities. So the 5th strand of DNA, 5D, 6th strand of DNA, 6D, 7th strand, 7D, 8th strand, 8D. This 9th strand that's coming on this online this month, 9th density. You can see how the frequencies are becoming higher and higher and more refined, and therefore the spiritual gifts that are being opened up within you are more and more refined and at higher and higher frequencies. And so this is also a really big deal. Having a problem with my mouse here. So let me take a moment and share with you. This is a screenshot of my website, goldenraycenter.com. And if you go to Galactic New Earth Project and you hit that little down arrow, I've added this new page, New Earth Revelations. This is important because as I'm doing DNA activation readings for people, I am being given more and more revelations about what's unfolding through this new earth reality with these higher strands of DNA. And so I've decided that I need to kind of keep a journal of them. So I've created this page, and if that's of interest to you, to find out what's actually unfolding through humanity as Sophia emerges through us, and as these strands of DNA are coming back online and regenerated, and these spiritual gifts are being, available to us again, I invite you to go here and check out. I'll be adding to it. Okay, now, just 3 days after Taurus crosses, excuse me, I keep calling Jupiter Taurus. After Jupiter crosses into Taurus, we're going to be having a new moon in Taurus at 28 degrees. And so a lot of new consciousness, seeds for new consciousness from these higher dimensional realities that we are starting to embody, will be able to take root within us. And this new moon in Taurus is conjuncting the goddess Sedna. She's been moving through Taurus for a long time. So that new moon in Taurus is going to happen on May 19th, as I said, 3 days from today, after Jupiter's made its ingress into Taurus. And I've got a super big announcement that I'm actually holding, and I'm on pins and needles. I can hardly wait to share it with you. And I am intentionally holding it to be able to share it with you on this day of the new moon into Taurus, so that I can get all of that energy and kind of harness it for this big reveal. So stay tuned for another video coming out in a few days on the 19th about this big announcement about this huge creation that Sophia is bringing through me. Now, what's interesting about the new moon in Taurus is all about our resources and what we value. Resources in terms of intangible resources, resources in terms of tangible resources. One of those tangible resources is money, right? What we value. And Carolina Grace and I just recently had another heart-led conversation about that very thing. What do we identify and value in third density Earth, and how is that possibly going to be different in 5D and above? So if you haven't seen this conversation, which does actually relate to all of these Taurian energies that I'm discussing, I will have a link in the box below, and I encourage you to go watch that conversation. Maybe you'll have some ahas, some downloads around that. Now, there is a lot of star power in Taurus right now. So we've got Jupiter, we've got the North Node, and we've got Mercury, the cosmic messenger. You know that. We have Maria Salome, who represents that holy soul aspect of Sophia. We've got Uranus, and we had that big Uranus Sun conjunction on May 9th that was huge. In fact, for me personally, related to this big announcement that I'm going to give you on the new moon, that Uranus Sun conjunction was so incredibly powerful for me. It was like the cork of a champagne bottle just went pop. And then, you know, when the champagne cork pops out, all of the champagne starts to fizz over. All of this fizzing out of this golden liquid, the yummy, yummy creation that was just waiting for the right time to be able to pour through me. So this Uranus Sun conjunction was extremely powerful for me. And I'm sure if you think back to what's been going on with you since that conjunction on May 9th, that you'll discover the same. And of course, we know that the moon is there because we've got this new moon in Taurus, right? A new moon is when the sun and the moon are standing together. And then, of course, as I said, that new moon is standing right next to the goddess Sedna, the goddess of transmutation. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the goddess Sedna in terms of transmutation. What she has been doing for us as all of this unfolding has been happening within us in terms of the higher fields of consciousness that we're embodying in terms of the DNA being transformed from carbon base to crystalline base, which she's been very much assisting with all of the DNA coming back online. What she's been doing for us is she has been taking all of the spiritual gifts, the tools that we've had available to us in 3D, and she is transmuting those tools from 3D tools that will not work for us in 5D and higher. So she's transmuting them into leading edge tools that we can have available to us from 5D and above. And of course, a part of that is these regenerated spiritual gifts that she's assisting in bringing available to us when these strands of DNA are being repaired and regenerated. She has been performing a tremendous service for humanity so that we can thrive in this new earth reality. And so, you know, let's think about what are leading edge tools. It's kind of hard sometimes for our mind to even conceive of something that we don't even know what might even be possible in 5D and above. But you know, think back to let's take the phone. Everybody uses a phone. It's become a critical part of their toolkit. You know, when the phone was first made, you had to crank it up and you had this thing that you put to your ear and they had to connect the wires at the switchboard. Very archaic compared to an iPhone, which is really a miniature computer. And so if you think about the shift that has taken place technologically from the original phone to the iPhone, that's what I would call an example of a leading edge tool. And now let's take a quantum leap from there, from an iPhone to what? What is that leading edge tool going to look like in 5D? But that's just something tangible that you can kind of grasp the concept around. Think about all of the stuff that's been going on within us, with the strands of DNA being regenerated, with the spiritual gifts being available to us again, with the DNA shifting from carbon to crystalline. My mind can't even imagine what those leading edge tools are going to be within my shamanic tool bag. But the goddess Sedna knows, and she's preparing me and she's preparing you. And we're already straddling, the 3D and the 5D. And so you may become aware of what some of those leading edge tools are for you, because you'll start engaging them as you're having these glimpses of these 5D plus experiences in your life. So this is a big deal about the new moon in Taurus, which is all about planting new seeds of consciousness, standing next to Sedna, because she's been doing this work through her very long journey in Taurus. And now with these new seeds of consciousness that are getting planted, think about how she's going to be taking them through their quantum leap. And so it's really, for me, very exciting, very thrilling. So thank you for sticking with me for this video. This shift into Taurus by Jupiter is a big deal. Jupiter will be going through Taurus for about another year. And so we've got a while to be able to really experience, right? Experience it through our physical bodies, what Jupiter is going to be doing to help expand our inner space and to upgrade our physical bodies to be able to engage all of these things that I've been talking about through this video in terms of our physical embodiment of it, being able to actually use it. So I hope that you will give this video a thumbs up. Please do, so that other people can get this into their feed. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, which is at the Rose Wheel Mystery School here, please click on subscribe and ring the bell so that you'll be notified when I put new content out. And if you need to contact me, this is my Gmail address, Sophia Mona Lisa 79@gmail.com. Remember, Sophia is spelled with an F. So I just want to thank you very much again for joining me. And I'll see you on the 19th, 3 days from now, with that big announcement. Take care.